You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Oh, happy Monday.
I hope everyone enjoyed last week's show. That was a lot of fun.
I had so much fun. They're just always lovely humans to talk to, I tell you.
Absolutely.
All day long.
I know it wasn't our usual spiel of things, but we thought it would be fun to do something a little bit different and
hey,
you know.
We like to support the indie crowd, so I'd say it's special when we get to do that once in a while.
For sure. I think it's good to change it up a little bit, and maybe we can do something like that with other guests later on. You know, whoever we can get. I don't know who we can get.
Grab some of them devs. Come on over.
Yeah.
We love talking to you.
Any devs that are interested, you know, we're open to it. And while we're on the subject of devs that may be listening, I want to welcome some of our new listeners because I've seen a little bit of an uptick here.
Welcome on in.
And I do want to do a quick little shout out to someone who was kind enough to give us a little tweet, and it was a very sweet tweet. I don't even mean that to rhyme, but it was just it's nice when you hear somebody.
Nice, yeah.
You know, but guy on Twitter, Troidal Power. Hopefully, I'm saying that right.
Mm-hmm.
He does his own thing. He's on. He does the one podcast of his that I actually listen to. It's like playthroughs or gameplay let's plays. I guess that would be a proper way to go about it. And he does it in a podcast format, which I found interesting. But I think he's also, I did kind of dig him up on YouTube and found that he had a few videos of those.
Yeah, I feel like
Let's
he
Plays.
mentioned in the pod even that he would that was even a different way that he was doing a walkthrough via a pod. Sounded like a timing issue. You know how sometimes you want to make sure your content's hitting at the right time. You know, so it's kind of like, I want to get a review out, you know, and so who knows? I'd have to flip through more. Maybe that is a regular thing. It seemed like it was more of the way he articulated it in the pod.
Sure. But he's a wonderful guy. He's lovely to listen to. I would recommend going and checking him out. Troidal Power. You can find all of his links on his Twitter. You can find him over there. And by way of I don't even know the word I'm looking for here. Adjacent to that.
Oh, he's like, it's your story, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm trying. I'm sitting here trying to come up with words. I'm still tired.
It's hard in the morning, man.
Mm-hmm. But he's part of the try to say this right. We Can Make It Work Probably podcast network, which does the Podcasters Assemble podcast that I'm also been contributing to with their Godzilla vs. Kong-a-thon.
Full circle.
Yeah. So that group over there, Eric Slater, he's the editor for the podcast, I do believe, and he's been kind of talking us up a little bit, and I appreciate that as well because
that's very sweet.
Like I said, I really enjoy the concept of that podcast because it's so original and so unique because you can get different voices. You can bring in whomever, you know, has an opinion about a film or anything like that. Because right now, I have opinions about all these films because this is my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. Now, if in the next season he's talking about The Matrix, I'm dragging a name off the top of my head. If that's what he's talking about, I may not have a lot to say about it because, you know, I don't have any kind of love or hate for the franchise.
Relative to your interests.
Right. But then if he shifts over to maybe the Alien movies or Predator, I may feel like, okay, yeah, I mean, I do enjoy those films. So would I have enough to say? Or maybe I don't. It's just a fantastic premise because even if I'm not contributing this time, there may be a film series down the road that I could say, oh, yeah. I want to talk about that. Hell yeah.
For sure.
So, and if it's not me, it could be someone else, and you can have this rotating cast of podcasters who could have a voice, and then that just brings more eyes to them. It's a great, fantastic
Definitely
idea.
like a fun concept. Yeah.
And I hope wherever they go from here, it really needs a little bit more light shine on it. I think it's a great idea, and he edits it beautifully, I think. So
nice. Go
anyway,
check that out.
Yeah, go check it out. We can make it work. Probably Podcast Network. You can probably Google that and find it. I'll even put links. I put links in it every time I talk about it too. So just follow that.
Just look on down. Scroll down a bit.
Mm-hmm. What about that Justice League? Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I haven't gotten through it yet. I'm a terrible fan.
Okay.
I guess I've gotten through 1, 2, and most of 3 because I mean it's a commitment.
Oh yeah, 4 hours.
It's a commitment. I mean, I kind of want to joke that his editing style is to not. Just if it was shot, put it in.
I mean, look,
but
I'll admit, if you sped up some of the movie, it could probably cut out about an hour because a lot of it seemed to be in slow motion. Like,
right,
is it really necessary right here? I mean, it's a cool shot, but is it necessary really? So,
there's probably why there's deleted scenes. That's why I always found it funny when like a movie would come out with extra deleted scenes, and most of the time you're like excited and then you watch them and you're very underwhelmed. Yeah, because there's a reason why it was cut.
Yeah, like
it's like
there are times like I've seen very few deleted scenes where I watch it and I'm like, I really wish I'd have been in there for some reason or another. But at the same time, you can look at it and be like, God, it's such a great scene, but I do understand why they cut it. And that's one of those that, you know, the director had a hard time letting go of because you're like, God, I got to get rid of this scene, but it's so good.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the tone is much different. I think, especially for the little bit I've watched, there's a lot more explanations on things that just kind of, I guess, was a given for people if you were just familiar with the source material. Because obviously they didn't have one-off for each character like Marvel did. And you didn't necessarily need to explain all of that in one movie because we caught you up with, you know, this character's movie and this character, and then it all came together for one big thing.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess we'll see, but it really does beg the question. There's a lot of interesting characters I wish we would have had their own dedicated story about, but maybe we'll see what happens from here. I don't know.
I'm going to say, I'll admit up front, I was kind of a half and half on Man of Steel. Despise Batman versus Superman because I just feel like it is. I don't like their characterization of Superman. I don't.
Okay, fair.
I do not like it. I don't feel like that is him at all. And then, of course, there are a lot of other issues that I won't even get into. And of course, when I was hoping when Justice League came out, the original, I was like, all right, see where this goes. And I was just like, all right, well, this is a dead universe or whatever because it's just and that's it seemed to be hinging on him, Zack Snyder, okay? Because I liked Aquaman, I liked Wonder Woman, I'll even defend Wonder Woman 84, motherfuckers.
You go right for it, man. You go right for it. Defend away.
I liked all the other movies outside of anything that he was directly responsible for. That was where my problem was. I just do not like his films. Okay? And Watchmen, I can respect. But when people say, this is a visionary director, and I'm like, visionary how? He took panel for panel something that someone else did and put it on screen. How is that visionary? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. I couldn't get into maybe that's just his style is a little bit more slower and just make it look cool.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm completely familiar, but like now that you're putting all those together and we're having this conversation, I can feel that same style, I guess, out of all of them. But it feels slower and more like, I don't know, like as a viewer, I think you want to crave all that information and then you would love it.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like me, I feel like a lot of it can be cut to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just my own personal opinion. If you love it, I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me, I need it to move a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Maybe it's my ADD brain. I'll start thinking about something else and lose track of the world around me if you're not giving me anything to pay attention to.
If it's not interesting, you're going to lose,
Yeah.
You're going to lose focus and you'll be like, I don't want to be here for this. So I get that. And those movies, it's good source material that he's copying, but you know what? I can just go read a book if I want it to move as fast as you're making it go.
Right.
And it's going to be better because you're omitting. This is my biggest gripe with Watchmen is the fact that they changed the ending. Okay? Let me tell you this. You tell me how this makes any sense. You are dealing with a movie that deals with a man who is blue, who was deconstructed and reconstructed through molecules and can teleport to the moon and can do anything. He is a god. But then when you say that aliens are a step too far, how does that make any sense?
What?
Okay, because
In their world?
here
Okay,
is
I
the
guess.
original ending to Watchmen. And this is not spoiler territory. I know any of you, you've either read it or you haven't, and that's that.
Right.
Okay. This book's been out since 85.
Right.
In the original, the idea or the plan from Ozymandias, who is like the villain, he had a plan that New York would be devastated by what seemed to be an alien attack, and it killed millions of people. And then the fact that this was an otherworldly being, the world would unite against this thing because it's nothing on our soil. It's foreign. Right. And they're just like, well, we all have to come together because this is a threat that not one country can face, but united. We can come together and we can heal because we saw what happened here. We don't want this to happen again, so we can heal as a united.
Yeah.
By making Dr. Manhattan the villain in that scenario, you are isolating it to the U.S. because he was their weapon. You see?
Okay.
There is no separation of that because he was working for a government, or the government for the United States. And there is, how can you unify when that's your weapon? It's like, well, the United States, they're the ones that did it. They're the ones that had him. So how can you do that? You take that away. And they just said, well, aliens, he didn't create real aliens. It was the fabrication of something that seemed like an alien.
Yeah.
And it was just predicated on a lie. You just say it's an alien, people are like, oh, okay. But no, that's a step too far. No, it's not realistic. I'm like, Dr. Manhattan, you're going to talk about realism. It doesn't make any sense.
No. God, it's like even the conversations from last week coming all around again.
Yeah.
You're steeped in realism.
Yeah.
You're going to drive yourself crazy.
But anyway,
Oh, man.
this is the roundabout way of saying I was really impressed with the Justice League film. I sat through the entire 4 hours from beginning to end. I didn't feel like I lost focus. I was in it. I appreciated that everybody kind of had a story arc and they were built properly. I felt that every character mattered.
Yeah.
Because I felt like like Cyborg didn't matter in the theatrical cut, and it was just like, why is he here? Flash didn't seem to matter. I mean, it was just ridiculous how they were all just throwaways. Like if none of you were, and even the fact that they gave a reason for Superman to even be there felt more legitimate. Other than in the I think in the theatrical cut, it was just like, well, we can't do this. We got to have Superman. And this, it was just like, there's a bigger threat. Steppenwolf is a threat.
Right.
We need Superman to kind of deal with him, and then we can take care of everything else. And the other one, it was just like, well, we can't. I mean, we're trying here, but we can't stop him. We got to have Superman.
Right. Like,
Yeah,
the only one.
Yeah. So then what's the point of having a Justice League if Superman's just going to come in and do everything? Because that's what happened.
Right?
He just came in and did everything. He was like, well, shit, y'all are obsolete at this point.
Right?
I don't know.
I mean, thanks for playing.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it felt so much like the ideas and the reasonings for so much, even at 4 hours, I mean, everything was fleshed out so much better. There were a lot of things that were omitted that I appreciated not being there. Flash didn't run like a moron. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the biggest gripes I had out of the theatrical cut.
Maybe it's a DC thing, because there's always gripes about how Wonder Woman runs too, which I kind of agree with sometimes, like however that CGI did. It's like, what? That looks really weird. But I mean, what does it realistically look like when someone's running super fast?
Yeah.
So like here I'm trying to debate this. But maybe, DC's just got to like look into how to make them running look more realistic as
I guess.
Superpower.
But, and finally, we didn't have Superman CG face. That was so
true.
nice. He didn't really speak. Did you notice that?
You know what though? Like I said, I'm only like halfway through part 3.
Oh, that's
the
right.
whole thing.
I'm sorry.
So I've only seen him in the beginning.
Okay, well, when you get through with it, see if you saw that.
I mean, I do plan on. I'm doing it in chunks, but like,
I really just kind of thought about it, and I was like, he didn't really speak all that much. I mean, he did. Yeah. It's not like he was a mute. But it just
so far, all I've heard him do is, and then it just goes everywhere, which was cool to see, by the way. It's like we knew, but getting to see why it was all acting up and everything was kind of a cool little insight. So yeah. The more explanation on things was great. I just, unfortunately, my ADD brain, I needed to pick up just a smidge to keep me in it, because I'll get sucked in and then like 15 minutes of scene shot will happen and then I'm off in my brain somewhere. So like, damn it. It was a pretty mountain, but like, good God.
Yeah.
The water's gorgeous, but
all this to say, I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, but I do appreciate this and I would like to see more of it. So
yeah,
maybe we'll get to see continuations in the future,
right.
but if not, it's cool. It's just, I was really impressed with it. I did not think I would like it as much as I did.
Good.
So,
fair enough.
That's it. And
nice.
Bouncing off of that, did you happen to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
Well, I won't say too much about it, but if you
I did see they dropped though on Disney Plus, right?
If you like,
are there 2 of them?
Just one episode.
Oh. Okay. I thought it was like 2 different.
They're together.
Characters.
They're together
okay.
in the same show.
Oh, okay. Shows you how much I read on it. I'm just speaking off of passing news.
If you liked Captain America, the Winter Soldier, like that particular movie, the second one, it kind of has those vibes. It's really, really good. And they're doing in that what we kind of saw in WandaVision, exploring elements of those characters that we don't get in the movies because it's not their story. It's Captain America or Iron Man or so on. So now we get to see, okay, well, what are their lives like? And I will say this, I won't say this is really spoilery in any way, but understandably so, why they did it this way, I'm okay with, is you don't actually get to see them in the same scenes together in this first episode. So it's like we're following Falcon. Where is he in his life at this point in time? And you can see he's doing his thing. You know, he's got his own problems that he's trying to deal with. And then you go over to Bucky. What is he doing? How is he trying to live? And I can't say which one is more compelling because they both have really great arcs that fit perfectly for those characters. Sure. And I mean, this was a longer show, like it was 50 minutes. So it kind of had more of like a, drama series that you would catch. Yeah. But it seemed to go by way too fast because it was just so good.
Oh, good.
I really recommend it. It's solid storytelling on both fronts, and I can't say too much more about it. But I'm excited for the next couple of weeks because this will also be kind of a shorter run. I think they said it's only going to be 6 episodes, but at about 50 minutes to an hour. I mean, I'm cool with that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Don't overstay your welcome. Make me beg for more.
Exactly. And I like the fact that it's dropped weekly and not all at once.
Yeah.
I do miss that portion of TV. I know, kind of digressing here, but like, you know, when everybody had the fair shot of seeing it at the same time, you got to discuss it. Nobody was ahead of nobody. Then you can't talk with your friends because maybe they're 2 or 3 ahead and spoiler, you know, like we all just sat down and watched it when it was on. And then we got to discuss it the next week. And I don't know.
I'm curious to see how if there's going to be rampant speculation in this particular series, because right now I don't know what you could really speculate. Like, maybe the only thing you could probably speculate is there a big, well, kind of what they did in WandaVision. It's like, well, there's Mephisto. He's going to be the big bad. And it's like, no, it's still Wanda and it's Agatha, and that's about the end of it. And it's like, yeah, but Mephisto, there's clues, and it's like, no, it's just these two. Keep it simple. We already know who the villain is, technically, or from what we've been told through trailers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is Baron Zemo, because we've seen him, we've seen ads, it's all there. So, are you going to speculate? No, he's working for some other guy, and that's the big guy. Yeah. Okay, if you say so. I have no expectations. I just want a good show.
Sure.
Show me what you got, and I'm in. And so far, so good. Even the ending, if you're kind of into these things, I'm not going to say anything, but I was like, oh, you sons of bitches. I was so mad about something.
Oh, yeah?
But I'll just leave it there. Like, I knew it was coming, but how it went down, it was just like, yeah.
All right.
I'll just leave it there. But definitely
well, it
check
keeps
it
you
out.
nice and fired up for the next one.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I think you would enjoy it.
I need to get through them. Like, this weekend was my cleaning, so I didn't want to put anything on the TV that like would really suck me in. So you always put on that background noise that you can kind of pay attention to, and it doesn't really matter, you know, while you're folding clothes or some garbage.
Yeah. But that's all I got on that front. So what have you been playing?
That, you know, this week's been a little light, so I hope y'all don't hate on me for that. We had a busy week, which was fantastic and fun and full. And then, you know, I just kind of, yesterday was the day I decided I wanted to I'm tired of all the clothes that doesn't have a home. And so they were getting rid of. So I ended up just like binge watching a show that I didn't have to pay attention to. But I kind of started, but haven't gotten too in depth with it yet. I'm hoping that I'll have time today. I feel like I earned a full day of lazy. There's a new FMV that came out, of course. So it's been like a good year for an FMV geek so far. But there's a Doctor Who one.
Oh, wow.
The Lonely Assassins, from the same devs that did the Simulacra games. And I enjoyed those. So I'm looking forward to diving in and actually being able to give it my full attention, hopefully later on today. So I watched the few of the trailers and the way it plays. I'm already got faith that I'm just going to enjoy it. But, you know, we can talk about that more next week once I've gotten through it. I don't anticipate it to be too long. And then for some reason, I decided to play Game Dev Tycoon again. I still can't figure it out.
But
for such an easy game. And I don't understand why I'm being so stupid with the whole thing. Because there's like an allocation of points that I just don't think I've ever grasped. And I don't know how to Google properly for someone to just tell me, because it's like you finally get to the point where you'll have more than just yourself. You start off as just a lonely developer in your garage, you know, until you earn enough money to get like your own office and actually hire employees. And so you'll have some that are super high with their points in design skill or in technology and research and speed. And when you start to develop a game, if you've played it enough, you can have hints and stuff, because you'll do research reports and it'll tell you what went well and what was compatible, why your score was low, high, whatever. And no matter how many times I've played it, I when it gets to the part where it wants you to allocate like how much time is spent on a specific thing and like who you would like to be working on it for that chunk, I can't figure out what the game wants to make the score better. Like it has at the bottom, it'll be 3 bars. And at the bottom of one bar will be like a plus and a question mark. So you're like, okay, so I'm assuming the plus and plus means they'd like, according to past, a little bit more time should be spent on this one. But the question mark could just mean you've done a different genre. So we don't know if maybe this genre, it should be a little higher. So it's like you're trying to crack the code, but I can't figure it out. Like for the life of me, you have technology and design points. So then I was like, all right, I have a well-even crew. This one's like master on design. I got this one on technology. Maybe that helps it. I'm sorry. I love this game, but I just don't know out of all of this time. And for some reason, I can't find like a proper walkthrough that explains it in a way that I understand. I'm like, no, I get that already. None of you have. Okay, so here's the challenge. If there's a game dev tycoon aficionado out there, like, write a real proper walkthrough on what all those points mean, please. Because apparently I'm just not quick enough to catch on to these other things that, other people have taken the time to write. And it's really starting to break my confidence. I've been playing this game for a long time. And I keep doing it. And now I just keep torturing myself.
That just means that you enjoy, like, there's something about it that you want to get it. You want to enjoy it.
I do.
But
I just can't crack whatever that code is, man. And it seems like if I mix it up, then I might get a random couple of 10s on the game. And I'm like, but then why?
Yeah.
How did I get more technology? How do I make them use more technology? Because they want it well balanced between design and tech. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I can't get it. So that's been my time. And then hopefully Doctor Who later. And then this week doesn't look too bad coming up. I might be able to actually finish all the ones that I keep starting and then just leaving somewhere random and then have no idea what I'm doing when I go back into it. Yeah. Okay. And just have to start over. What have you been playing?
Absolutely nothing, to be honest. The only thing.
Well, you had a busy week too, though.
I did. I did actually play one thing, but I'll be talking about that later. But that outside of that, nothing. I've been busy with other things, so.
He was busy editing that VOD.
Yeah.
So if you didn't catch it, guys, go check it out. Got our VOD of the roundtable chat with Dark Side of the Moon. And of course, we got the audio version if you prefer that. If it's just nicer to not see our faces when you hear us, I understand. But if you prefer it, then you got that version too. And there are extra goodies in the video version. So if you've heard the audio, don't think there's nothing fun for you that you hadn't already heard.
Right.
All right. Well, we do had kind of a busy week in news.
Okay. What do we got?
So let's see what's going on here. I guess we'll start off with, I don't know. This one kind of pisses me off. We were discussing this a little bit, but Activision is at it again. So this past week on Tuesday, last week, Activision Blizzard fired dozens of people in different departments, 50 of which were employees who handled the esports programming and other live events. So on its surface, it looks like it's kind of accommodating to, we don't have live events right now. So you kind of want to understand why maybe that department is less than. But of course, again, the article by Jason Schreier said the dismissals were affecting less than 2% of their workforce. So this is what they're, putting out there, which was about 190 or less employees overall. But the real number actually isn't public. So this was confirmed from an anonymous source. So the actual number could vary. They didn't want their name put out there for, I guess, dishing the deets. But among the cuts were employees at King.com, who is the maker of Candy Crush. Oh. So I as I'm reading through this, it's kind of, you start to learn more how many hands they've got in other pies, right. And affecting other things. But of course, the reason was mostly pointing to, adjusting to home from work, live events just not being mostly possible. Again, pointing towards the pandemic, as it has caused a wrinkle in a lot of people's plans this year. But a spokesperson from the company said players are increasingly choosing to connect with our games digitally. And the esports team, much like traditional sports, entertainment, and broadcasting industries, has had to adapt its business due to the impact of the pandemic has had on live events. All right. The U.S. workers, though, reportedly will receive 90-day severance and health benefits for a year, along with job transition support. And the icing on the cake, this one was great that I read. They also got $200 gift cards to Battle.net.
Oh, well. Goddamn, I know they can live off that.
You know, just, pay rent through the Blizzard store. I'm sure that's perfect. But, oh, man. And of course, they're pointing to BlizzCon again, which actually was having lower numbers before the pandemic. Like, it just wasn't as well attended. So the article ended with Blizzard having an optimistic outlook for the coming year and expects to hire 3,000 more people in 2021. I understand nothing.
Whatever.
I understand nothing. But as you look in it a little bit more, their stock's up. So I guess Bobby Kotick will get another frickin' yacht this year. I don't know.
Hey.
If I even see like another 200 mil go into his account after I keep seeing record years and firing people, especially now, sorry, I'm not on your side.
No. He
Yell at me all you want.
He deserves nothing but hate and vitriol because he is a greedy, selfish son of a bitch.
I just feel like the wrong people have money.
Oh yeah.
I just like
200
it's
million.
so much more obvious. I guarantee probably that much is going into his pocket this year after firing all these people.
He has money to burn. 200 million. He could have kept that entire staff on
and lived quite a nice life.
Yeah.
I'll never understand that mentality. I know that, again, we're digressing off of games, but you all have heard me yell about, Amazon and all this kind of stuff. It just, I don't know. It bothers me that you have more money than any human knows what to do with and could solve so many problems. And we would build idols in your honor and sing hymns to your name. And you'd go down in the record books as just like the most amazing human. But no, space. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on. I'm such a bitter thing.
That's fine.
But some good news. Jade Raymond seems to be bouncing back quite nicely through quite a rough couple of years she's had. But yeah, good for her. You might remember that she is, of course, best known for her work on the Assassin's Creed series and had recently departed Google because we've all heard what happened to Stadia and everything over there. So she revealed her new studio, which is called Haven, in a blog post from PlayStation. So it appears that next game is a PlayStation exclusive. Woo. So in her own words, Haven is an independent studio where many of the talented game developers I've worked with for years are coming together to do what we're passionate about. So she wants to make games without barriers or impediments. I don't know. As it sits at the time of this writing, I don't exactly know what the next game will be, so we don't have details on like a genre or anything at all, but just note that it will be an original new IP for PlayStation, and I'm sure we're several years from a final product, but yeah, good for her.
Yeah,
keep on moving. So if you're a fan of those games in her style, girl just started her own stuff. She's like, done with you all, we're making our own, and I respect that. Let's do it. Yeah. PlayStation actually had a big week. I think like a bulk of our news is coming out of them this week. So with the aforementioned news, we got more PSVR 2 news, kind of. So we didn't get any details on the headset still. That's probably going to be the last thing we ever hear anything about, or even a planned release date. But we did get a look at those controllers now. Like finally a good look. It wasn't some drawn out prototype or something they submitted for copyright. But they kind of resemble a bit of the Quest controller.
Yeah.
Kind of in the way that it holds. Maybe a knuckle hybrid. And it this big orb that just kind of goes around your hand. So I'm wondering about the weight. They said it's definitely smarter, lighter, so that all of that's been play tested. I mean, I think it's a good direction for them because no matter what, I've yet to meet anyone who thought those wands were a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, it was using technology you already had built in, and it was just like, that's...
And trying to make it work for a new thing. Yeah. So we'll see. It says it's well balanced, comfortable to hold, which it kind of looked like it from what I could tell. So it's supposedly for a variety of hand sizes. So if you're extra small, extra large, apparently it can accommodate. It does have the adaptive triggers. So kind of like the DualSense hybrid, if you will. So they're taking their DualSense stuff from their controller, and adapting it to the PSVR remotes. It will have haptic feedback, finger touch detection, tracking from the Ring. from the bottom of the controller and more. And I'm sure you'll start to hear more probably in the next year or two coming out. But it's not looking too shabby. But you know one thing I didn't see in there? A wrist strap.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that could have just been left out on that model, but I don't know, man. It's something to consider if you're not, for whatever reason.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because people violently swing, man, and that's going to go one day. But we'll see. Yeah. I would imagine the wands had a wrist strap, so I can't see that they would just forget about that on here. But let's see. I just found it bizarre that I didn't see that even in the model where the person was holding it, that it had a wrist strap. But whatever.
No, there's still time.
Yeah, there's still time. Like I said, I still feel like we're years away from actually seeing a final PSVR 2, I guess, if that's going to stay the title. But rounding out the PlayStation news, it seems Sony Interactive Entertainment and the new esports venture goes by RTS have jointly acquired the Evolution Championship Series, which is EVO, from Triple Perfect through a joint venture esports partnership, which is kind of a big get because that's a pretty big online thing that they do. So through this partnership, it seems that Tony and Tom Cannon, who are the co-founders of EVO, will still be involved as key advisors to ensure that it stays a grassroots community. So we'll see how that goes because it was a very, grassroots built up by that kind of word of mouth, which is kind of the best way to do anything, in my opinion. But it will be returning this year as EVO Online. 100% online competition will take place on August 6th through the 8th, then on the 13th through the 15th. So if that's something you're interested in, it's free entries. It looks like players just from North America, Europe, Asia, and Latin America will compete in this one in the Bandai Namco Entertainment division with Tekken 7, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 11's getting thrown in there. Guilty Gear, which I hadn't heard of, so that's another one. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can go check it out. The winners from the qualifiers will be live streamed, and you can check out the details over on evo.gg if you are interested in seeing how that shapes up. So, wow.
Yeah.
Everyone, I feel like you're buying everything, where everything's going to be owned by like 3 companies.
If we can just consolidate them all together, that would be great.
I think a way to break them all up. Spread that love around. But let's see. We got a little information too on Bethesda's Starfield. So if we were looking forward to that, it's Bethesda's new sci-fi RPG, which we've been getting like little bits about off and on for however long now. It actually could be launching soon. Again, this is from a leaker, a legitimate one, but a leaker nonetheless. So I always like to put that in there. But Jeff Grubb, who is a reporter with VentureBeat, was a guest on a YouTube channel, which was claiming to know Starfield's plans and was revealing to all, you see, saying that we should hang tight because all will be revealed later this year during E3 in 2021, whatever that E3 will look like, digital or whatever. But the aim to release later this year, supposedly. Grubb says it's kind of a similar marketing style that they did with Fallout 4 because all of that was revealed in the E3 2015. So maybe they're doing the same thing with it here. We'll get him up there making jokes about bugs in games again and announcing Starfield maybe. So they do RPGs well. So I'm excited to see how this one turns out for sure.
Right.
Oh, man. What'd you think of that Square Enix Presents this week? Yeah. We got a few things to look at. I mean, I wasn't going to go through every single game because, as we all just said, kind of But, I mean, if you want to go check it out, I think the whole presentation was like 35, 40 minutes. You can skip the first 45 because they left the timer in the VOD for 45 minutes. So I thought there was going to be more because I had to watch it later, but
we have to sell it and make it act like it's a long show.
Leave the timer in. I get that when you're trying to get people to collect during a live event, but on the VOD, can you chop it off? I feel like whatever. I don't know. You're definitely not getting that 45 minutes of watch time. But it looks like the big focus was on Outriders, which does look like a good time. I mean, it is, multiplayer, so I'm always a little hesitant when we come to those sorts of things. But the demo's out. I guess I have no excuse. I could go check it out if I really wanted to. Bulletstorm is the developing team. So this will be the cooperative sci-fi third-person shooter. It was announced it was going to be released on April 1st. So just around the corner. It looks like all platforms except Google Stadia on this one. Okay. I don't know. So the demo's been out since February. So I know most people have been on this a lot quicker than I have. But the demo will include the prologue, first chapter, and a side quest. So apparently it gives you a really good feel for the game. Maybe we should check it out.
Maybe we should.
We really should. It does look like, I mean, I'm hearing buzz that it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's also going to be coming to Game Pass on day one, but interestingly, only on the console, not for PC for this one. So we'll see if it comes to the PC Game Pass later on. But for right now, Game Pass only on Xbox consoles.
Huh.
And they did talk about some 25th anniversary stuff with Tomb Raider. So it looks like we'll be getting some few goodies, trickling out through the year over that as well. They, of course, had to announce that the trilogy that'll be coming out for all of the new ones. It'll include your DLC and expansions and things like that with it. And they also were talking about, I guess, an anime series that they're collabing with Netflix that'll be coming out. So I feel like we talked about that a little bit a while ago, but I could be getting all of my days confused together because I feel like we talked about an anime series.
I know that there were some announcements for. Now, what was this for again? Maybe it said here that they were collabing with Netflix on an anime series and Legendary Television for Lara Croft. Oh yeah. Because I don't know where my brain went. When they announced that, there were some other announcements that went with it. They were talking about an anime series for Kong, because Legendary was also kind of involved with that as well. So I was like, all right.
That might be what I'm recalling then. Looks like another movie, too, with Alicia Vikander. I hope I'm saying that right, is reprising Laura. And announced a crossover with Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was just some weird stuff. Apparently, they already did one with like a Final Fantasy game too. I gotta check these out because I'm having a hard time visioning it. And a Tomb Raider cookbook. Too bad that wasn't already out. I could have totally done a, I'd buy that for $1 with you. But if I don't know what they're cooking. I don't remember, like the campfire stuff maybe from the new games. You want to make that? I don't know. So that's coming.
How to make s'mores from dirt? Who knows?
Right. But yeah, so promises of more fun stuff to come under the Tomb Raider name this year. So yeah, if you want to go check that out, it's titled The Definitive Survivor Trilogy, and you can get it now. Already out. Go buy it if you want. And then something about Fortnite and Croft Manor in it. Something that happened. Looks like they did talk about a lot of mobile stuff, which was kind of interesting. They got a lot of that coming out. The Hitman Sniper Assassins look kind of interesting, but I literally saw nothing, so I don't know how it works on a mobile. Like, it was just a trailer. So I got no gameplay, no feel for nothing, so I don't know. Screw it. We'll just talk about that because it seems like the only one that I've really seen anybody talking about. The big draw for this year was the next installment in the Life is Strange series. Life is Strange, True Colors, different character it looks like. We're going through a whole other person's life. Now, I do have to say I am digging this idea now where, when the first one came out, you didn't know if that was the protagonist for the series. But it's Life is Strange in different people's lives. Now that I kind of like that Life is Strange is this franchise now, and these are different strange characters that we're going to introduce. So I do like that. That's how it's been going. But this one, it seems we're following Alex Chan, who has the psychic power of empathy. As I was watching it, I feel like this power would just kill me. Like, I don't know that. Like, I already feel like I'm kind of an empath when people are sad. Like, my whole day is ruined. I couldn't imagine that being my superpower. But anywho, so just like another one that's going to hit you right in the feels. I mean, they're already talking about how they were going into details with her brother and how he passed away and doing all that. So I just feel like I would sit there and bawl, but in a good way because it would be a beautiful story. But we'll see. Haven Springs open for business September 10th.
All right.
That's what it looks like. They're going to be, or at least the first episode. I don't know how many is supposed to be in this one. And then they did go on to mention that there will be a remaster of the OG Life is Strange and Before the Storm with improved visuals and animations, also set to be released this fall. So if you've never played it, maybe just go on and hold off now and wait for the improved one.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. So there is one, actually, that's a quick it. We'll go back. Did I write it down there? I didn't, but I'll remember.
Okay.
Because like I was looking at it, I'm like, there's not a lot on that. I should maybe just do this a quick it. My last news, we're actually going to end on some Cyberpunk news.
Okay.
Because they finally released what they were going to do with their next patch.
You mean fix the
I know
game?
they've had a rough time. Well, sort of. It looks like at least some of the bigger things are getting addressed that has the bigger complaints on it. So for patch 1.2, which we know was supposed to come out already, but hacks and pandemic and things like that pushed it off. So finally addressing the police concerns when if you did anything kind of wrong, they like spawned around you in seconds, behind you, in front of you, everywhere. You were just swarmed. It's like you could kill someone in a dark alleyway and nobody would have seen it, and all of a sudden, pink, and just they're all over the place. Well, this one is trying to address how they perform in the game. So, yeah, and they showed us a little video. It looks like they shot a couple people, and it took a little bit of time. They did add a drone, it looks like, that would scan to give you the feel of someone still kind of watching, to, okay, more believable that the police would come. And then when the character turned around, you could see one cop starting to run down and another one. So I was like, maybe not perfect, but miles better than what it was. Like a little bit more believable that it's taking them a little bit of time to come to the scene and they don't just drop from the sky and take over. And they're also addressing the driving in the game. This is probably more for PC players because it seemed like it affected more people who like to use keyboard and mouse. But the speed of steering, which I can attest to, is freaking crazy. Like, I ended up just only using a motorcycle in the game because I just got way too fed up with trying to drive a car because the motorcycle, for some reason, was easier for me to steer. But the drift was the biggest complaint because you try to turn and it's just like your whole car would be, you're constantly running over sidewalks. Like, the drift is just insane. You try to adjust a little bit for curvature in the road and you're in a building. It was kind of nuts to me. So that supposedly is a little bit nicer. We saw a video from that and it does look it, but again, till I get my hands on it, I can't really tell. And then finally, us PC players can map our damn controls. Thank Christ. So they did show us in there that you can finally, if you were one who doesn't necessarily just want WASD as you're walking or any way you like to customize it, thank God they finally are going to let you do it. Because I still can't believe that was a thing in the first place. How are you not going to let PC players map their own damn controls? But anyway, and also helped fix the double tap feature for us keyboard and mouse players, because dodge was a double tap of W. And W is also walk. So if you were trying to be all stealthy and go real slow and just kind of hit it, double tap could turn into dodge like that. And you've screwed up whatever you were trying to do. So you'll now have a feature where you can turn that off, and then it would be double tap crouch, which is C, or control, however you put it in your game, which is much harder to accidentally pull off. So couple of those key things. There's, granted, tons more that needs to be addressed, but I think once these get in, and hopefully it doesn't break anything else once this drops, we'll be starting to get on a good path here.
Okay.
All right. And then that's kind of the big news. There was so much, because like we missed the big news the week before too about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be like remaking that in the old school style, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait to see that. It looks like it'll be like the 4-person like you did in the old school arcade, and I'm excited for that. But I just had to mention it because I played the crap out of that game growing up, man. We would always sit around the TV with 2 controllers. This is all you had, and the Nintendo, But it was fun. I had a great time. So this one is just like a little sneaky thing, and I can't read much more into it than that, but I follow Nibel on Twitter, who's a reliable leaker for stuff Xbox or whatever. And supposedly it was all in French, so I apologize. I couldn't really get really deep into it, but someone overseas plugged in one of their controllers to the Xbox, and a message had popped up looking for VR.
What?
Are they working on VR? Why would an Xbox be asking about that? So that's really all the news there is, but it's kind of exciting to me because I always said that I think they could have done it better than PlayStation.
Yeah.
Their camera was so much better than the Eye. It really was, and still holds up. Still holds up for the full body tracking. I was always curious why they didn't bother to venture in.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think that's good news. That's good news. Of course, I have no other news for you than that, but somebody saw it, took a picture. And then, little quick Quantic Dream is teaming up with a new studio for a new game. Looks like they're going to start doing publishing now.
Really now?
So I don't know if Quantic Dream can be considered all indie after all this, but let's see. I don't want to take it away, but at the Pegasus 2021 award show in Paris, they announced that they're partnering up with Parallel Studio, which is also a French developer, with a new title that will focus on narrative, atmospheric, and poetic cinematography. So if Quantic Dream noticed this, and I'm already a huge fan of how they do their storytelling in their games and just how I'm here for it. I'm excited. They just wanted to open up the door apparently to an indie team and give them access to the resources that they would need to fully flesh out this idea. And I love it. And I hope that becomes a thing. Sweet. And I love that I put Wantic Dream because I really edited, when I was typing out my stuff. So Wantic Dream, apparently. So, Parallel, though, was founded in 2015 in Paris by veterans at Ubisoft, Don't Nod Entertainment, which was some of the people involved in the first Life Strange and everything, and Quantic Dream. So, I mean, it sounds like we got a stellar group of people here. If you've not heard of them before, I had to look this up because I hadn't myself personally, but they've released a survival horror game called White Knight, and then a VR horror game called Dark Days in 2017. Could this allude to a really cool, scary, choose your own adventure in that style game? I don't know, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just for me. Hopefully you guys are excited too. But anyway, the Darkside Detective, a Fumble in the Dark sequel, releases on April 15th. That was such a cute game. If you didn't play the first one,
I don't think I know that.
Darkside Detective, little pixel art, game. I think you would enjoy it. Sonic 2 announced production on March 15th. So I guess we are getting that sequel, and it's getting sort of started up.
Hey, while we're on the subject, what about that rumor floating around about an Ace Ventura 3 with the Sonic the Hedgehog writers?
I don't know what to feel about that. Okay, personally, did not like Jim Carrey until about Liar Liarish and after. Not knocking his style, it just was not for me. That over the top, goofy poop and fart jokes and all that it's just not my humor.
Right, I get it.
So personally, I don't know why we're making another one at all.
But we don't even know if it's true.
That's true too.
I mean, rumors abound, and I think a lot of that's coming out from Coming to America 2, or however the hell you want to call it. You know what I mean. But where that has become, I guess, a hit. So it's like, well, what else can we bring back and turn into a hit? Because
you got a movie for me.
You would exactly. So you would essentially have to scrub out that one turd that they came out with, Ace Ventura Jr. Do you remember that? Did you ever see that?
Not.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I've seen the first one, and that was enough.
Well, I didn't know if you'd seen like advertisements or even just box art.
I kind of remember when they were new and everything, but
no, this was like
that one skipped me by.
No, this was like a direct-to-video. Well, we need to make another one. What are we gonna do? Well, he's got a kid, and it's like, really, he's got a kid, and so they just craft this whole thing where he's got a kid, but he's nowhere in sight, and because we can't get Jim Carrey back. You're not going to recast him, so you're just like, well, he's gone, he's missing, and the kid's got to go find him or whatever.
He had to go to court.
Whatever. I don't know. It was just, I didn't even waste my time because I was like, there's no way that's even going to be remotely funny.
Yeah, I feel like he was the selling point on all of that. So, well, whatever.
I am okay with the idea. I guess I'm feeling like it would be one of those scenarios where too little, too late. And
I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it can't be funny. It's just like, I don't know. What are you going to do? You're going to recycle jokes that we've seen time and again. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, we got to have him talk out of his ass. Yeah, but do we?
Right.
Do we have to? You know? Because the funny stuff for me, like legitimately, for part 2, I consider it's funny. It's got funny moments, but I don't think it's as funny as the first one, in my opinion. But the funnier stuff was the stuff that they didn't repeat, because everything he repeated from the first one and the second one, it's like he just turned it into an over exaggeration of the first time he did it. So it was just like, okay, well, yeah, we're doing this joke again, ha ha ha. But the funnier stuff was the new stuff, allowing him to play with new stuff, as opposed to just saying, well, he's got to say already then in the weirdest possible way. He's got to stand on top of a tree and scream out of his asshole. You see, that's funnier because it's bigger. No, not really.
It's just not my humor, but I mean, if it happens, I guess congratulations to those who are huge fans of the series. I will not be looking into it.
It's okay. It's okay. I think Ace Ventura is underrated. As weird as that may sound, I feel like it's one of those that have just kind of disappeared over time. Mm-hmm. But I really feel like he's doing some good stuff in there, despite, I mean, he doesn't really do any fart jokes in that. I think that was more like Dumb and Dumber and stuff. But in that one, he has some really good stuff that he does.
When I think of like 90s Jim Carrey, that's what I just think of. It's just obnoxious face contortions with poop and fart jokes.
And that's fair, yeah.
And if you like it, great. You don't have to get mad at me just because it ain't my humor.
I mean,
I like a lot of childish things. That's just the one area that never clicked in the anime.
That's fair. Continue. Sorry.
One I'm excited for again, too. Disco Elysium Final Cut comes out on March 30th. I'm excited for more of this. You're going to get it on PC, PS4, PS5, and Google Stadia. They're adding more voice acting, extra content, which I can't even imagine, but I'm here for. If you have it on PC already, you get the upgrade for free. I'm happy. The Switch version doesn't seem to be completely ironed out yet, so it doesn't seem out of the question. It's just still in the works, so not on the 30th at least. Gotcha. There is a collector's edition for purchase from I Am 8-Bit that includes the game, art book, a fabric map, like one of those really nice ones, and one of the mine totems, and of course the game, if I didn't say. Good time to get in it if you haven't played it. I still highly recommend this game. It's phenomenal. There's so much story, and the fact we're going to get some new stuff now.
I do need to get to it.
It's such a good game. I mean, it's a commitment. I won't lie. I think my first playthrough was about 40 hours. And I'm sure I didn't do everything.
Yeah.
There's so much story to unfold. And then I play it again like a completely different character. I could only imagine because the writing was so good. So, if nothing else, wait till the 30th. You get the whole shebang. If you were looking forward to it, they finally announced out of WB Games Gotham Knights. It's now a 2022 release. They did announce it's just going to have to wait. And I think we should all be in the same spot of please just wait till it's ready.
Mm-hmm. I was actually talking to Lucas Egan on Twitter about that. You know, I kind of saw that it was. I felt like we're going to see more of this, and I'm okay with it. If we don't get another Cyberpunk incident, I'm okay with it. You release the game when it's done. We'll wait. I've still got plenty to play.
Right. Oh, God. Don't we all? And that was something I was even saying last year. Probably you too. I was like, we're probably going to see the bulk of the delays starting this year. because I think it'll affect more of the ones that we're trying to release later last year and at all this year, because it took a while to get everything figured out. So just go fire up some of them old ones that you keep going, I don't know why I haven't played it yet. Like, just do that, and then, you know.
It's fine.
Well, it'll be okay. If this was 20 years ago, I could kind of understand. But today, you got stuff. Pistol Whip teased its next campaign, which could be the Wild West, which looks interesting. God, I wish I could play that game again. Hopefully soon I'll get all fixed and I can squat and jump and be John Wick again. It's such a fun game. Such a fun game. I just know I would not walk for a week. Tried to play it even for an hour. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting an expansion. So if you were a fan of those games, it's called Wrath of the Druids, which is planning to be released on the 29th of April. And at this time, you're off to Ireland.
Okay.
So following that roadmap, it also says Valhalla will get another expansion called The Siege of Paris, which is scheduled for the summer. And there's also some smaller free DLCs in there. But as far as I can tell, the bigger expansions are not free. Those look like they will be... You have to pay for it. But the little smaller ones they'll throw in there. So if you were wanting more Assassin's Creed, there you go. And a new area to boot. So that's always fun.
Yeah, Todd let me borrow that game. And I told him, I said, you realize I'm so behind. You're probably not going to see this game for months before I even get to touch it. Like, I didn't even, I bought Odyssey last year. And I've not touched it. Because it was such a great deal, and I was like, well, I'll get to it. I need more time. Swear to God, I wish
I'm just, if our country would just get on board with the 30-hour work week.
It'd be nice.
No,
I've got
get back out there.
so many other things to do.
Even just life.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice?
I just want time. Time. That's all.
Is not on my side. No, it ain't. That didn't work out as well as I was thinking, but next Quicket. You'll like this one, hopefully.
Okay.
We can check it out if you want. Ace Attorney's getting an online orchestrated concert. It's a special online concert supposed to take place next month to celebrate and share some of the fantastic music from the game franchise.
What?
I don't know. It sounds kind of cool. Like just this big old orchestra playing this game music. I think it sounds kind of cool. Some of the pieces will be performed by the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra, who has performed music from Final Fantasy in the past on numerous occasions, apparently at live events, which I could understand too, that those are really big songs and everything. The Japanese voice actor for Miles and Raiji will be the MCs for the event, and a few other voice actors as well from the game. It'll be in Japanese, so unfortunately, if you're not fluent, the music will be fine.
Yeah,
you can understand the music.
You're there for.
Just listen to the music if you like. I don't know how much you might enjoy the talking portion for that, depending on if you know how to speak it or not. But it's going to take place on April 10th at 7 p.m. JST. So I tried to do the math. It looked like they were 14 hours ahead of us. So 5 a.m. April 9th for us in the U.S.
Damn it.
It's Central Time at least. So give or take your hour, 2 or 3, depending on where in the country you live.
That sucks.
It's like, you have to get up pretty damn early. But the tickets are $42. And you can watch it on demand throughout the week if you want, which is probably what I would have to opt for.
Because I'm not paying $42 to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, let me tell you.
Yeah. That was a hard time zone to figure out, man. They're so far ahead. So we get it sooner? I don't know. However you look at it. And my last little bit, just a special mention if you didn't see the article yet about Super Nintendo World. The images, I don't know if you saw it. They had like one of the journalists that got to go through it and actually see it. It looks super fun. It's just like so colorful and bright and looks dead on to what you would expect. And it's apparently fully open now. I would just say, I guess, be careful in Universal Studios Japan. I'm sure they're taking all the proper precautions, but I still care about you siblings, so still just be safe if we're going into public spaces. And, but it looks so fun.
Yeah, I would love to check it out. I know that I heard, I hope I'm getting my dates right, but I'm almost positive I heard they said that the one that will open in Orlando will be 2024, maybe. So I know that's
not too far back.
a ways away, but hey, maybe COVID will be gone by then, or at least under control.
I was just going to say, especially if you're going to put it in Florida.
Yeah.
Sorry if you live in Florida, but...
No. They're being stupid again. Spring break, super spreader events, all this stuff. It's happening.
Oh my God, it's been a year we're talking about the spring breakers, which means they're going to blame all the millennials again because they forget that millennials are now in their like late 30s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But whatever.
It's happening. If there's a spike over the next 2 weeks, blame Florida.
Mm-hmm. I think we've all just gotten used to that now. Mm-hmm. Again, sorry if you love Florida, but
yeah, it's.
Why can't we put things in other areas? We've got so many gorgeous places in the States that could also probably love a little economic push.
Now,
like, why do we got to keep putting things in California, New York, and Florida?
I do. Tell me if I'm mistaken here, okay?
Okay.
But was there a time, because you're not too much younger than I am, was there a time when Florida did not have this reputation? Like, I remember as a kid, maybe it was Miami Vice that did it, but I was just like, maybe. Florida, that's a cool place to go to Miami. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it just seemed like this cool ass place to be. And now when you think of Florida, it's just like it's a scummy.
Well, I think what happened is the internet and the fact we could hear all of the Florida Man stories.
Yeah.
Now that we were much more connected and aware of what was going on down there, it's like, oh. And then I know people who live there that confirm it. So I'm like, oh, so it's not even like an Onion article or far-fetched. So they're like, no, that probably totally happened.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. So like I growing up, I don't remember, but I could almost guarantee as soon as the internet and stuff happened and we were reading everyone's news instead of what got dropped off at your front door.
That's true. It's just, I don't remember it having that reputation as a kid. Of course, as a kid, I really wasn't, I didn't have
attention.
I perceived what I wanted to. And like I said, Miami Vice might have had something to do with it. And I was like, I want to be that cool. Yeah.
Who else wore suit coats rolled up? I mean.
Okay. Continue.
I only got one more thing, and just because I thought this was kind of interesting, I guess it could be considered weird news, but I'm just going to throw it in as something that caught Lace's eye that she thought looked interesting. So, as a PC gamer, Alienware has announced 2 new gaming laptops that took its inspiration for the style from the movie Back to the Future's DeLorean. So what do I mean? It's in the mechanical keyboard. So if you're a mechanical keyboard lover like I am for your gaming, this was interesting to me. So it changes the way in which the keys operate through the Cherry MX mechanical switches underneath. So what usually happens is there's like a certain gap of distance that these switches have for you to depress and go up and down. Usually anywhere from like 12 millimeters, if I'm saying that, out to 18 and a half. However, these new ones would be super low at just 3.5, which will operate like when you're looking at the picture of the button being depressed. That's where they're getting where you could tell from the DeLorean's car door opening. Okay. So it's supposed to just make things a little bit more precise and super quick, more for like latency and things like that. I haven't gotten to try it, of course. This seems like a new thing. I'm interested in looking at it. I'm a fan of mechanical. I've gotten to trained with the clicky and the depress. I don't like the chiclet keyboards for that reason. Like I feel like I just don't feel any resistance. I don't know. It's all in your personal preference, but it'll also, with this laptop, give you the ability to fully program macros, RGB backlighting, which they boast contains 16.8 million colors. Okay. I didn't know we needed that many to rotate on my keyboard, but I'm curious how this will work for mechanical because, like I said, I already got one that I know and love for my gaming. I'll never be able to get an Alienware laptop, but I will admire it from afar.
I mean, yeah.
And if we ever get to go in stores again, maybe actually get to push the buttons and test things out. That's my fear with things these days. I don't like buying stuff that I can't use first.
No. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Like, what if I hate it and I'm so lazy, I'm not going to return it, and then I'm stuck with this thing? And I know that's my problem that I need to address, but still. Anyway, go check that out if you were looking for it. It might be the closest we ever get to getting a new video card anymore these days. It's just buying a whole new PC and overpaying for it. So there you go. I don't think I'm ever going to get a new one again. I keep looking, and I don't know how I'm ever going to get my hands on a new graphic card, like at all.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, nothing. Frickin' farmers, will you stop?
Yeah. I'm
really irritated. I feel like I've been fighting with them for graphics cards for like 5 years now.
It's ridiculous.
You don't even need all the stuff that's on it.
It's like, but we could do stuff with it.
Well, all they want is just a card to make their computer run. And unfortunately, we've never addressed a card for just them. So I get why they have to buy it. You need a video card for your... But it's just so sad that all that power is going to waste because you literally just need it to run the PC.
Mm-hmm. People are dicks.
I'm just scared. If this goes out, I don't know what to do. I can't even find a crappy one to replace it. Like, you can't even find old garbage graphic cards, man. I don't know. I hope they figure that out because it's going to have to happen soon. I've had it for a few years now. And I kind of want a new one because I want to put in another monitor. First world problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all of my ports are gone from the back.
Eh.
Well, what do you do? But that's all I've got.
Okay.
Now I'm just going to keep talking BS because I can.
That's fine.
That's what you love, right? But what do we got? What's our big headline? Or I guess I should ask if I missed any news because I know sometimes you find some cute little quick hits or whatever that skipped my eye holes.
I don't think you missed anything this week that nothing comes to mind that I saw that you didn't bring up. No, this week I'm going to be talking about that Cyanide and Happiness Freakpocalypse game that came out because...
Excellent. Been waiting to hear about this. Yeah.
Last week, since we had our guests on, I probably would have talked about it. It's been out for about 2 weeks now. But I just wanted to kind of touch on it, talk about it, do a quick little review on it, and what to expect. Because we've played demos, we've seen it at PAXs and stuff like that. Talk to the guys or a guy who's involved in creating it. Mm-hmm. So what is the game? Well, first of all, it's a point and click adventure game. So if you're familiar with that format, you got your mouse, you got your keyboard, and I'm actually good at mouse and keyboard with point and click because I'm like,
and you don't have to like aim.
Yeah, it's like this is easy. I don't have to do much, just move and click. So it's in essence, it's a very straightforward point-and-click adventure. If you're familiar with that kind of format, that genre, it's the same thing. You point, you click, you move. The story beats kind of move the same way. You'll have a chore, as they call them in this, to do, and then you do that chore, you move along. You also have side chores that you can do for other people, which will earn you other things in the game. You don't have to do a lot of this stuff, but I think it's fun to explore this world because we're talking about Cyanide and Happiness. And if you're familiar with the show, the shorts, whatever you've been exposed to,
the little memes on Twitter
of this show, I mean, if you're a fan, you're going to love this because it's kind of like stepping into this world and playing in this world. Very much like those last two South Park games, the Fractured Butthole and the Stick of Truth were, faithful recreations of South Park in every which way that you could ever ask for, and you're getting to play in that world. This is the same thing. So you get to play as Coop, Coop McCarthy. I remembered. Hey. It almost slipped my mind. It's your Coop McCarthy, and you're the biggest loser in high school, and it's just... God, the crap he goes through, it's heartbreaking sometimes because people shit on him throughout this entire game. But in typical Cyanide and Happiness fashion. Yeah. So also keep that in mind. This is graphic language-wise, so expect, foul. This is a M-rated game for sure. The fact that this even went to the Switch as an exclusive just boggles my mind.
I don't know, man. The Switch has been getting some adult content games, man.
I know.
I'm not saying that. I think it's actually fine.
No.
I get your point of being a little shocked.
It's that how long they've stood by this family-friendly Disney-esque identity And then now it's just like, well, it's whatever. It's whatever. So, anyway, but yeah, do expect a lot of that, so just be aware. But anyway, as Coop McCarthy, the game actually kind of starts off with kind of like a simple tutorial to kind of get you, familiar with the basics of how things kind of work, but it's not like, hey, press this or do that or whatever. They're just like, hey, just kind of feel it out, get familiar with the controls, as simple as they are. But they're just trying to get you familiar with it. But it's in a dream sequence, and you can see that he wishes for greater things or something bigger and better. And of course, he gets to school, and then everybody starts crapping on him. And then you get to interact with the school. And within the school, you'll meet people, you talk with people. Anything that you can interact with or talk to, I would recommend if you're kind of in for a slow burn of things. Like if you're not in any kind of hurry and you just want to explore, it's great for that because you get that humor, you get simple little jokes, some punny puns that you might dig, and you may even see some cameos from other characters that you may or may not be familiar with, depending on how well versed you are with the Cyanide and Happiness universe. I saw characters like Shark Dad. I don't know if you know that guy. It's just like a shark that looks like stands upright like a man and has a mustache.
Okay.
And then there was Ted Bear, who is kind of like Steve Irwin. And like I stumbled upon him in a garbage dump and is like, holy crap, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm looking for this. And I was like, all right.
Nice.
So there are a lot of little cameos like that. You got, let's see, where am I at here? Oh, there's an entire hallway. And I guess I should have prefaced this whole thing by saying I was a Kickstarter backer for this. Don't let you think that I'm, this review is not predicated on that I'm going to sit here and just stroke it off the entire time or something like that. Just be aware of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's an entire hallway of Kickstarter backers, and you get to see all their lockers and everything like that. And I found mine. I had no idea where it was going to be, but I was just like, oh, let's see. And I tried to remember what I wrote down is like, because they gave you options like, well, what are your hobbies? What do you like? What do you dislike? Stuff like that. And then they would kind of decorate your locker. I guess some people had better lockers than mine. Like I was looking at it, I was like, well, maybe I just didn't describe it as good as I should have. But it was still nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disappointed. I'm still in it. Yeah. But it was just like, But anyway.
I thought it looked cool though.
Oh yeah. Don't
like, especially for like a backer thing. I felt like that was fairly unique.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just haven't backed enough games, but it seemed like a very unique way to add you in.
Yeah. So I'm not complaining. I was just, I guess I felt like I didn't do a good enough job describing to make it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't do what I should have done to make it pop out or pop. Sure. More. I don't know. But no offense to them. They did just fine. They didn't even have to put me in the game at all. It didn't have to be a thing. But so as Coop, you get to explore the school. And at first I was kind of curious how this was going to work because we did hear in previous when we talked to Adam Nasrallah, who's a producer and did a lot more in this game, matter of fact. He mentioned something about the game being broken up into parts, and I was curious at first if, like, was this just going to be contained to the school, and eventually, after you do a few missions, you do get to explore outside the school, and I was like, oh, great. So it does kind of open up a little bit, and you allow you to kind of explore a small section of the town, but it's big enough. Like, I can't see why you would make the area in which you're walking around in a point-and-click game any bigger. There's plenty of places to go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
I'm sure there's a lot of backtracking in a game like that, too.
Yeah. So you've got all these places to go, all these people to talk to. You've got so much to do. And like I was trying to remember another thing, too, collectibles that you'll find throughout the game. That's another thing that you can do that it doesn't necessarily point you in a direction, but this is also why I recommend that you you click around and you explore everything, because you have 3 options when you click something. You can look at it, touch it, or speak to it. And each one can kind of give you, different responses, because you could be looking at somebody and go to, you click to touch and he's like, I don't think that's appropriate. And he's like, fair enough.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. But a lot of the areas, I mean, it's not even blatant, like where to touch or what to look at. Like they're not pointing you as like, hey, you need to point right here, or you need to click right here and touch that. It's just the whole idea of exploration, because you can find new hats. You can find, I guess it's like face paint, or I don't really think that I saw much in the way of stuff. Like the very first thing I got, and I was like, damn it. And I'm glad they didn't force you to keep it on. But I was helping a guy. This is not a spoiler. This is a side mission. This guy is standing off in a hallway, and he's talking about his markers. And apparently he sniffs markers. And, he's sitting there saying, there's these really good markers, and I've got to get, the really good markers. There's only one guy who can get me the really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And Coop's like, all right, well, I guess I'll help you out. So you go find the guy who has the good stuff, the good markers. And then you help him, you acquire a marker after doing some side missions for him. And then you can go give that dude a marker to start huffing on. And then he rewards you with a face tattoo, which is, a dick and balls on your face. And I'm like, God, you son of a bitch.
Of course. Yeah. I worked for this.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but outside of that, I'd say a lot of the facial stuff I really didn't get into, but a lot of the hat and shirt combinations, they had some really good stuff in there. It could just be something as simple as like tinfoil hat, or maybe like a shark hat, like from the Shark Dad.
Yeah.
But some of the really deep cuts, one that I found just by sheer accident, but it was almost like it was begging you to touch it, is you go down into the school boiler room. Mm-hmm. And if you look on the wall in the back, you'll see Freddy's glove hanging. And I was like, that's Freddy's glove. Let me touch it. And then I got the hat and the sweater, and I was like, oh, that's freaking awesome.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just little things like that. It's like they entice you with certain things, and then other things you're just not thinking about. You're just like, okay. Mm-hmm. But everything you can touch and click on, there's something to it. Even if it's just a simple little joke.
Yeah.
So it's worth exploring just for that alone. But
yeah,
as I mentioned, I said that this is kind of cut up into parts. Now, I probably spent somewhere between 5 to 6 hours playing the game, and in saying that, mind you, I don't think it would have even taken me that long to get through it. Like, if I had focused in on the story, no side missions, no nothing, it was just story. And just went through. It may have taken me half that time, because I did explore a lot. I wanted to check out the town and, of course, backtrack here and there for whatever purposes. Mm-hmm. But when the story gets to the end, things change. And I don't want to say too much, especially if you want to play it, because the narrative, that's another thing really great in this game too. Everything's voice acted. So even the dialogue that's written about, if you want to listen to it and you don't want to read it, you can hear them talk it, perform it. There's cutscenes that are well done, just like the Cyanide Happiness cartoons. But when we get to the end, things start to shift, and it seems like this is where we're actually starting to get into what the story is supposed to be, because title of the name, Freakpocalypse, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so what are we what are we trying to point out here? Like, what are we trying to say? Like what's
like some big event,
right?
An apocalyptic size event of freaks, maybe even. I don't know.
Well, that's when it happens. Is right at the end of the game, and they say to be continued, and we're like,
Is it episodically?
Well, it doesn't seem to play out that way, but that's how they're releasing it.
Okay.
So
So, like, you will get, well, you're a backer, but
I
you
would
will
hope.
get everything for, okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
okay.
I would
As a
hope.
backer, I assume you might, but I'm wondering, like, if I just went to go buy the game regular,
I'm
Finley.
Yeah, I'm curious how that works, because this seems like a game that's just kind of out, and I don't know, when you hit that to be continued, it's like, oh man, you know, you just, because you're there now. To be fair,
Waited a long time.
yeah, to be fair, and I'm hoping I'm not spoiling anything, but I feel like I might understand why they may have done that, because the way it ends could fundamentally change how the game operates from that point forward. But that's just an observation. I could be wrong, but that's my observation.
Okay.
So, with that said, no spoilers, but I'm curious if that's why they split it up, is to say, okay, well, this is this portion, and the next part, everything's going to have to change, and then we make it like this, and then if there is a third chapter, which I'm almost positive that's what he said, then that fundamentally changes everything, and then that becomes that game.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to understand it, because after, you know, you sit there and you're enjoying it, but when you realize how quick it really went by, when you really look at the time you spent on it, it's like, oh man, you know, especially once you get to that story beat, and it's just like, oh, we're getting somewhere, and now you take it away from me. So it's a little disappointing in that regard. But like I said, if you enjoy the Cyanide Happiness world, the content, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't enjoy this. If you enjoy point and click games, I'm not going to say that it's definitely your wheelhouse, because again, I think the story and the humor would also have to entice you in some way. So if you like kind of crude humor in a way, and you also like the point and click, I think you can get into it. But beyond that, if neither one of these things entice you, then just stay
kind
away.
of a niche group, maybe.
Yeah, because it's not.
Really.
Because I like the stuff. I've always been a fan of the shorts ever since I found them. So this was really cool. I wish we had the full game, and I'm trying to understand where they're coming from. I know he probably told us, you know, reasons for that, or maybe he didn't. It's been a while since we talked to him. It's been almost
a
year.
couple of years now, yeah.
You know,
at least.
So I recommend it if you're a fan. That's all I can say. If you are a fan of this Cyanide Happiness, I could definitely recommend this. Fan of point and click, possibly, if you enjoy that
if
kind
you're
of humor.
okay with adult language.
Right. Beyond that, I mean, I don't really know if I can recommend. And I'm hoping if you were to go and buy this, that you get the full game in one price, because I don't feel like that's fair for you to have bought the game and then you have to buy the next episodes.
Well, they used to do that, I feel like, when the episodic first became a thing, but it would be $5 of an episode.
Yeah. Now, if
I'm not saying them, I'm just those. Maybe I'm looking at like Telltale.
Well, I guess.
I feel like it was like $5 a pop. You get each one, or wait till it all came out for $25 or something.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know how much it's selling for, so I can't really speak to that. So if you go on there and you pay $20, then hopefully you're getting the entire game for $20. Now, if it's half that and they charge you per episode, then sure. Then maybe, you know, because the $5 thing.
Yeah, it's $20.
$20. See, so I
That's
don't.
what it shows on here. $19.99.
So if they charge you $20 a pop for each episode, that would be kind of some bullshit.
Yeah, so it would appear you're getting all of them. It doesn't say episodically or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So hopefully that's how it works, because if that's what I paid money for, is just that, then I'm going to be pissed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, $20 for just like one episode of a point and click would be a little steep. Be a little steep.
So that's my take on it. Not too deep in depth. There's not a whole lot to go on. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward in what it is, but it is kind of funny. There's a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of good content. If you enjoy that world, I really had a lot of fun. Just in the small amount of the story that we did get, It was some good stuff. Felt sorry for Coop. He said,
Has it changed a lot since PAX? Like in how it played or artistically?
no, I mean, it really felt very similar.
Okay.
I don't want to say that there aren't changes that I noticed, but a lot of it.
Well, we only got the one
Yeah.
scenario, I think, at PAX anyway. So
So
obviously, I would hope there's more by now.
sure.
So that was just.
But I mean, we weren't really looking for anything either. So like that hallway sequence, trying to get past the girl with the hall pass and everything like that, that was pretty much the opening,
Okay.
stretch of the game, and it all seemed the same. But again, there could have been so much more content added, like the collectible stuff that that you're looking for now. There were just so many little things that I overlooked as I was going through it in one pass, and I'd come back to a room and I'd click something. Like there was one item I was looking for. I knew what I was looking for, and I went to the janitor's closet, and this will give you a little hint. So any of you start looking for it. I won't
Stuck
say
on
what
the
it
same
is.
one.
But I went to the janitor's closet because I thought this is where this would be, right? And I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's nothing else in here to look at. So what am I missing? And then I start looking at the map on the school, and I was like, what am I missing? I went back to the boiler room, nothing there. And I'm like, where could this be? Where's this one little thing? And then I see a classroom, and then I was like, yep, right in there. I guarantee it's in there. And sure enough, there it was. And I was like, damn it. And I had been in there several times, and somehow I just never saw it. But it's sitting right there, clear as day. As soon as I walked in, there it was. I was like, I'll be damned. How did I miss this? So pay attention
you
to
weren't
your...
looking for it then.
Yeah, pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah.
That's another thing, too.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with point and click, it's probably always a good idea to just click everything.
Yeah, observe.
Even things that wouldn't make sense sometimes end up being the solution in those kinds of games. Now, about how long did it take you for the first episode?
I think about 6 hours. And that was...
That's not bad.
And that was... I actually went and was really looking for stuff. So, like, I was looking for extra costume stuff or doing side mission stuff. I even looked through some of their, because they had, like, a trophy list and stuff like that. And I was trying to figure out, like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? Like, there was one that probably took me just a little bit extra time. And it was one of those that you don't realize you're doing. And then you start to realize, oh, okay. And this will actually keep you busy because you have to go back and start doing, clicking this, clicking that, or clicking through. But it was called Got 'em. And he would just make some joke talking to something. And it was just like, hey, Mop, you're looking pretty moppy. Ha, got him. Or
Got him.
That's not even a joke. But something to that effect. It would just be
some really dumb insult, if you will.
Yeah, got him. And then that would be it. So you go through and you find all these got 'ems, and then there it is.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay. And I almost had all the costumes. I was missing a shirt, and I don't know what I missed. I was like, all right, well.
Well, it seems like a good amount then for the first episode, at least 6 hours, lots of achievements, collectibles, things like that. So if you are into those games.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you like the world, the universe, I think you'll like it. If not, then just step aside.
Right.
No, you're not going to be missing anything if you don't play it.
I'm sure there's plenty of others out there for you.
Sure.
Oh, well, fun. Any idea when they plan on releasing the next installment?
There was no hint of it in the game. They haven't said.
Okay.
So I remember Adam saying that once the game did finally release, the plan is like they were waiting until they could say, okay, the next 2 episodes won't be far behind. That way it's not just like one big
plan.
Hey, well, we'll wait, and next year you'll get the next one, and the year after.
Pre-order the second one so we can make it. Yeah.
No, to my knowledge, that was his plan. There's like, wait until we've got everything, like the path is clear, then we'll release that one, and then we'll hit the other 2 not too long after. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully I get to see the rest of this game this year and not some other time.
Excellent.
But yeah,
all right.
That's my review.
Well, it sounds like I like it. Very honest. If you're into this sort of thing, you'll love it. If you're not, that's just how things are, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's our show, I would imagine, then, for now. You can, of course, hit us up sometime on Twitter at Super Mega Crash. You can send us an email at supermegacrash@gmail.com. Also, you can find us on Instagram to view the weekly icon art that Steven puts his time and love into. You can support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred platform. And you can even go to patreon.com/pencil and paper productions to support the show. You can tell your friends, your enemies, whoever you see to find the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network, or just search Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and even youtube.com/Pencil Paper Productions. Go subscribe to that. We really want to start doing more VODs for when we do indie dev pods. So if you like that medium, go subscribe. Let us know. And you could just let us know. Let us know. Thank you so much for listening. I am Lacey Finley.
I am Stephen White.
And you can join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.